Hello, my friends, and let all who will hear. Let me tell you a tale. There once was a man who was a very smart child, even grew up to be very successful in life. Now, growing up in a small community of people, everyone knew him and all the success he had made for himself. He kept to himself, going about day to day, just doing the things which brought him all of that success. One day his worst enemy became so jealous of him that he hired all of those who worked under him to find something to take this man out so that he could take what was his. Day and night they searched. He and his people searched and searched for something to put him under and ruin him, yet they could find nothing. Meanwhile, in this small community, there were barbarians rising up from the east, and tensions and conflicts became commonplace with this group. One day, this man who was righteous according to his generation was suddenly put in the position of power by others in his community to lead them through the tough times. He, because he was a righteous man, accepted. Suddenly, more than just his enemy began to desire all of his success and the power and influence he held over his people. Suddenly, as he was put in a position of power, even the lowliest of his own people suddenly wanted to take him out. Eventually, by deceit, the whole community began to turn against him, and they plotted. Now, with very few people truly on his side, he decided it was time to make a stand for what he grew up with. So he picked his side and watched as the rest of the community took theirs. So much poison was already put into the minds of those who agreed with him that somehow he was an evil even though he did nothing evil. So many people, in fact, turned that no longer did he even have a quarter of the population willing to follow him. As they plotted now for a way to take him out, they made sure that other businesses and institutions in the community also began to turn against him. They even went as far as holding community events against him, just so those who still followed him, even they, began to turn against him. Suddenly the day came where his worst enemy saw a weakness in his armor. He plotted against him and was successful in finally taking him out. Now his worst enemy has become the one in charge. But what this man who stole the righteous man's power did not know was that the only thing holding the barbarians back was this man being in power. The day after they took him out, the barbarians invaded their community and destroyed it. The power to hold on to everything this community ever made that made it flourish was already in the community. It was already there, and in greater numbers than those who come against it. Yet by deceit and by the people not being able to stand firm in what they knew was right, this community lost everything it already had, never again to achieve anything. God bless.